Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome back. I hope that all of you had a very integrative, impactful week. I know that I personally did. Lots of energy, lots of emotion. I think I slept for the first 3 days after my video. Just a lot of integration. So I thought it was a perfect topic to follow up with a live Q&A. And as you guys should know by now, this Q&A is for members only. Of course, it's for everyone. Everyone gets to enjoy it, but only my members were able to ask questions. So if you guys want to ask questions and you think you've got some pretty great questions, feel free to sign up and be a member and even dive deeper into my content. So just keep that in mind. So let's get to some of your questions. I do want to let you know too that this is pre-recorded, not live. I don't know, for whatever reason, I just felt like I needed it to be pre-recorded. Today, Sunday, I have a really busy day with a lot of channeling and clients and group session, and I just wanted to kind of give myself a break in the morning. So that's probably the main reason why it's pre-recorded. First question came from a lot of people, so it doesn't really have a name associated to it. But the biggest question that I found people asking is, how do we help the children, right? I mean, we can all understand what's going on and grieve what's going on, but how do we really help? And there's a lot of different things, right? Raising your vibration. Eventually there will be a time for a protest. And I'm hoping that all of you will want to protest. But like I said in Monday's video, above and beyond all protesting, the biggest thing that's going to help liberate the enslavement is going within and doing the energy work. So some of you will be called to do energy healing for the planet. Some of you will be called to be full-on light warriors and fight the darkness on the planet. There's a lot of different things that you can do. But the best thing that I recommend all of you do, right? Of course, follow your intuition, follow where your soul is taking you. But ultimately, the best thing that you can do is raise your own vibrational frequency and heal yourself within. Clear your own sexual trauma and karmic debts within. That's what I mean by healing yourself. And that way you can liberate yourself and therefore liberate the children as well. And basically, when you overcome your own karmic debt in relation to child slavery, you will be able to release the karmic debt collectively on the planet. That is how it works, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit more moving forward. I also have an incredible affirmation for all of you as well. It was another really great question from one of my members. I also want to let you know that there will be no live video on Monday. I'm thinking about potentially posting a video or some meditation music for all of you, because I just feel like I need a Monday of silence in order to give space for the healing and the integration of the last video. There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about, a lot of topics that I do need to cover, but ultimately I just need to give that space for the solidarity of these children. And what I recommend that all of you do during live at 5:55 on Monday, and that's why I'm thinking about posting a meditation music for an hour, is I want you all to take the time to sit in silence and to work with the energy of the children. So visualize a humanity, visualize a planet where all children are free, where there is no more sexual abuse, where no one is getting taken advantage of anymore. Just absolute liberation for everyone is really, I would love for all of us to come together for a meditation to really spend that time to give back to the children. So I just want to let you know a live video will not be happening. I'm hoping to maybe post something in its place, but we'll have to see what that is. If not, that will be a time for you to just kind of go within and do the work. I think that's the greatest gift that I can give in my position, is not just the information, but give you all the space to do the work yourselves as well. Okay, so next question from SND. Hi EA, could you explain the role that karma plays in this a bit more? You said that the reptilians understand it well enough to trap souls here, but could we begin to understand it well enough to free ourselves and others? Absolutely. Also, I understand that we're entering into a shift or an end of an age. How does this impact our unresolved unkarmic debt? Yeah, unresolved karmic debt. Are we on a countdown to resolve our karma? And I would also like to understand the Galactic Federation's reasoning around not interfering a bit better. Totally, absolutely. All really great questions. So the first one is, can we understand karmic debt well enough to free ourselves? And yes, absolutely. And it's really interesting because I just had a realization last night, and so my wife went out and she had a couple of drinks, which is fine. I'm not a big drinker. And she had some fun and she was with friends, and that's amazing. And she works way too much, so she deserves to kind of go out and relax. Anyway, so she did something that was slightly inappropriate. It wasn't crazy or anything, but just slightly inappropriate. And I thought to myself that irritated me a little bit. And I asked myself why. Why did that thing irritate me? And I'm sure that thing probably would irritate the average person. But I asked why. Why do I get irritated with that? And the answer that came back surprised me. And the answer that came back is, I get irritated or agitated when I see someone that I love creating more karmic debt for themselves, right? So the biggest thing is, I should do a whole video, and maybe I'll just write that down actually, on clearing karmic debt. Let me just, hold on. I've got all my sticky notes here. Yeah, clearing karmic debt. Okay, so the biggest thing about clearing karmic debt is understanding the repetitive patterns that are keeping you stuck in the same place. That's what karma really is. It's a slap in the face again and again and again until we actually realize what's going on and why we keep repeating the pattern. So the first thing is free yourself of ignorance and understand the patterns that you're replaying. Second thing is understand why you're replaying those patterns over and over again. And the third thing is make a new choice that frees yourself from replaying that pattern. What is it? Why is it in your life? And how can you transmute it by choosing a different choice when you observe that pattern being replayed? That's the easiest way, in my divine masculinity, to kind of lay out how to clear your own karma. Second question here is, yes, are we on a countdown to resolve our karma? I would hate to say yes, because time and linear and pressure and expectation and attachment, but yes, we are on a bit of a timeline to clear our karma. And I thought for years that we had to clear our karma. What was it? What was the first timeline that I was given by the GFL? Was it 2017, 2018? I think it was something around then. Like back in 2012, 13, 14, I was shown that we really need to get upgraded and updated. And you might see that in my old Mandela Effect video, that we need to shift into 5D and clear our 3D karma on this planet in order to do so. And we need to do that ASAP. And I still believe that we're on a timeline. The timeline got pushed back a little bit, and I believe that the biggest timeline that we should be keeping in mind is 2025, right? We basically have until 2024 to replay these old karmic energies, and then we can figure it out moving forward from there. So yeah, so hopefully deal with your 3D stuff before 2025, and you should be good. And that gives us quite a bit of time to recognize those old patterns, stop them in their tracks, make a different choice, and reprogram with something that's higher vibrational. Okay, and then also the Galactic Federation's reasoning around not interfering with the children, and I totally get how upset you are, and I was crying when I said, why? Why wouldn't you stop? Why wouldn't you end this? You have the power to. And once again, they responded back, and I said this in Monday's video, but I'll say it again. They responded back with showing me, not just saying it to me, so it's difficult to kind of convey the depth of what they showed me, how all of the souls before this planet were also trapped in a karmic debt cycle, and we're also trapped by trauma and fear from the reptilians. And by coming to this planet and getting involved in the same entrapment, they are supposed to replay that themselves so that they can learn that ultimate lesson, empower themselves, and move on. Not your dad, not your boss, not your partner, not your best friend, not your guru can show you the way out of karma. It's always got to be you. And I hope that you understand that, and I hope that you don't blame the Galactic Federation for that. They are literally abiding by the laws of the universe, and one of the biggest ones is the law of non-intervention. We have to do this ourselves. And that's why any teacher that tells you that you can't do it, or that you're not strong enough, or that you're not psychic enough, is not a good teacher. Not a good teacher. I don't really know any teachers on the planet, so I can't pinpoint saying this is good and this is bad. Any teacher that takes you away from your own power is not a good teacher. Any teacher that empowers you to step into your power and to understand how strong you are is a good teacher. It's just as simple as that. All right. Okay, so moving on. Julia Dutoit, hopefully that's how you pronounce it. Can you give us an affirmation to repeat in meditation to save the children? Yes. Now, we need to realize that an affirmation is powerful, but it's the vibration and the intention behind the affirmation that is far more powerful than the affirmation itself. So here's the affirmation that came to mind when you asked this question. Super, super simple. As I heal myself, I free the children. As I heal myself, I free and liberate the children. Okay? So that's really important, but it's less about the words and more about the vibration. If you say that over 3 times, and then you really embody the vibration of pure source to the extent that you're feeling the healing take place in your bloodline, in your ancestry, in your lineage, in your body, in your soul, and you feel that seeping into humanity, and just permeating through all of the souls on this planet who have also gone through sexual abuse, that's when you really make an impact. Feel the vibration, feel the impact. Don't just say the words. But good question, Julia, thank you. Lisa Reef. Will these children, as they come up from the tunnels, be cleared of the trauma to their souls so that they can live a joyful life? I haven't necessarily channeled this specifically. It's almost like they will be given certain pardons from the Galactic Federation, but ultimately there absolutely still will be trauma, and there will be a lot of work to do with these children. And once again, guys, you are some of these children. You have been abused yourself. I mean, this has been permeating far beyond just a giant pedophile ring. I mean, this is permeating far beyond that. So ultimately, the biggest thing is they will have trauma, but they will have the support and the help to heal themselves from that trauma. A lot of us didn't. And a lot of us are just now understanding contracts and karma and how we can help ourselves and how we can ask for help as well. So yeah. Okay, Denise Pace, you mentioned the council talking about them using karma to trap us. How do we break free of this? I ask for the children. So I kind of mentioned already how we can break free of karma traps, but another thing to add to that is break free of fear. Any sort of fear that you're feeling, even fear for the children, you're actually feeding into the fear dynamic and the limitations of the 3rd dimension density here on the planet by feeling that fear. So break free of your own fear and you will be helping the children. Okay. Amanda Griffith. Hi, Elizabeth. My question is, what happens to these reptilian souls once they cross over after they have done these horrible things? Do they go to the same place we as humans do? Absolutely. No matter if you're a plant, a dog, a human, a reptilian, a Palladian, you all go to the same place. Now, of course, there's a holding space. I call it the liminal realm. And a lot of beings end up crossing over and going to this weird liminal place where they're kind of like ghosts and spirits. And some reptilians, if they're dark enough, they will just become dark entities. They still have a soul, it's just not as recognizable. So just kind of being aware of that. But if they're choosing the light and they're ready to move on and they're ready to kind of repent for their sins, I know it's totally Christian of me to say that. If they're ready for that, then they will cross over and go back to source, and they will have to deal with the decisions that they made, just like some pretty corrupt, not so nice beings, human beings on this planet have to also cross over and deal with the decisions that they made in the afterlife, in that pure source. Christy Moe, how do we protect our own children? Really good question. Ultimately, I would say your children are not necessarily right now physically unsafe. The biggest way that you can protect your children is to tell them that they are safe. Tell them that they are taken care of, and take care of them in an emotional way. What your children are going to be prone to and open to, unfortunately, is psychic attacks and energy attacks. And the way that you can help them from that is many things. I recommend crystals. I've got a huge tourmaline, but it's not in arm's reach right now. I recommend crystals in their room, Himalayan salt lamps, sage spray, putting them into pure white light bubbles of protection, especially if they come back to you and they say that they have a lot of nightmares and things like that. It's a pretty good indication that they're getting psychically attacked. All right, next question from Yenza. Elizabeth, in your video about child sex trafficking, you mentioned that the kids targeted by the elite are usually pure crystalline bloodlines and are highly psychic. Does this mean that not all kids on this planet are equal? Some perhaps more pure crystalline or cosmic than others? Can you elaborate? Yeah, so this is a good question. It goes back to my video not too long ago talking about, that's what it is. Okay, the thumbnail of the YouTube video is a bunch of basically human evolution. And I'm pretty sure the video is called, the evolution of humans or something along those lines. But regardless, basically, I mentioned that there are human souls on this planet versus cosmic souls. So do I want to say that, some children are different? What did you use? Yeah, that all children aren't equal. I truly believe that every single life in the entire universe is and should be equal. So I would say that everyone's equal, but your soul is different. I mean, every soul is unique and individual and has its own unique soul signature. So just kind of keeping that in mind, we have different waves of beings coming to this planet, especially starting back in, I want to say as early as the 1920s. Of course, we had a huge wave of cosmic beings come to this planet around Lemuria and Atlantis. And then, 1920s, but really like the 1960s, huge wave of indigos. Then the crystalline children coming to this planet, and then the rainbow children. And it's very interesting because my astrology, because my Saturn is in Aquarius, I literally just learned this, because my Saturn and my Saturn return is in Aquarius, basically the main message is that I am at least 2 generations out of my time, which is beautiful. Like, can you imagine all of the new generations all being born with the abilities, the knowledge, the awareness that I was born with? Once again, everyone's equal, everyone can do what I do, but it definitely comes a lot more natural to someone like me. And I believe that those are the rainbow children. And I've been called a rainbow child many times, and I'm gay, so that kind of works too. Okay, cool. So Also about contracts from Yenza. We came to Earth and knew our contracts before we incarnated, mostly to bring in and anchor in the light, etc. In the video, you also talked about these kids being trapped and enslaved by dark forces. Was that part of their contract? Yeah, so I want to say that ultimately, yes, part of their contract and things that they have to learn and relearn and karma that they have to close from past lifetimes. But also, unfortunately, and I don't want to freak anyone out, but it's fine. I will say that it is possible for dark entities to override our contracts by manipulating us. They can never put fear into us. They can only set up our environment so that we feel fear, if that makes sense. They can never make us feel anything, but they can set things up in a way to create that feeling of fear. But in that moment, if you're feeling fear and you're like, you know what, I don't feel like I signed up for this, you can always renounce your contracts, right? You can always take yourself away from maybe a reaction that you had years ago to something that was very scary. And you can basically say the words, something along the lines of, I renounce, I think that's the right word, but correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that's the right word. Renounce. Anyway, let's say release. Okay. I release any and all contracts that no longer serve my best and highest good. It's as simple as that. And also keeping in mind, like maybe it's a financial abundance contract. Maybe it's a romantic relationship contract. Maybe it's a contract that you have with food and you have this weird battle with food. Just realize that you can release and complete any and all of your contracts if you so desire. Okay, Chantel. Hi, EA. First, I wanted to know how you're doing since the last video. Good, much better. The first 3 days after that video, I was so drained and so tired. And at first, and I couldn't get to sleep at all. I don't know about you guys, but like, I'm pretty good with being in a meditative place, allowing my mind to release all the thoughts just to get to sleep. But the first 3 nights after that video, I couldn't sleep. It was really bad. And at first I thought that maybe it was a psychic attack. But when I tapped into it, it looked like all of those channels were clear. And really what I was told from my higher self is that it was actually just, in fact, me integrating the information, because I mean, I was crying and releasing like a deep, deep cry about an hour before the video when I was channeling all the information for the video. So yeah, so I'm doing good. I'm doing really good now, but I needed to go through that time of integration, and I would have like a session and then pass out, take a nap, like 2-hour nap, and then have another session or do some more work. So it's been difficult, and I want to pre-apologize for anyone who's been waiting for an email back from me. I've really been slacking on a lot of things this week just because I'm allowing myself the time to integrate. Okay, so also Chantel, I want to personally say thank you. I already had 3 people wake up because of this video, and I'm sure that they will be a member soon because you gave them the information so purely and easily for anyone to understand. Awesome, thank you. And thank you for sharing. Thank you, all of you, for sharing. I know that all of you put it out there, and I know that you put it out there saying keep an open mind. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. So the question is, the more truth about this coming out, will the reptilians also be made public, or will people freak out way too much and it's not time for that? Well, I'll let you guys know that I know that probably a lot of you think that I'm kind of like next level weird. I don't even know what you would describe me as, but I'm a pretty good representation of what humanity is ready for. And I know that there's 8 billion people in the world, and I have, a couple of thousand across my social medias, but the Galactic Federation only gives me information that humanity is ready for. And in a lot of ways, I am held back, right, from receiving a lot of information because humanity is simply not ready for it. So you guys understood this video. A lot of you understood this video. Also, the same thing about the reptilian video. I did a whole video just talking about reptilians, and it was one of the best, most well-received videos I've ever done. And same thing with this video. We're going deep, we're going dark, but we're purging out the darkness as we go into it. And I just got full body chills when I said that. So is humanity ready for it? Will they freak out? Yeah. I think that there was a lot of people who were apprehensive to even watch my last video on child pedophilia and sex trafficking because of their own fears, of what's going to come out. But ultimately, humanity is ready for it. You guys are ready for it. It's time. It's happening. It's no longer a time to hold anything back. So good question. Lori Sunday, great name. Why isn't the light overriding the dark? It is. Next question. Seriously though, the light is overriding the dark. I mean, it's happening now more so than ever before, and that's why we're seeing the purging within society that we're seeing, is because exactly that, the light is overriding the dark. Fantastic, keep it up, this is good. All right, Pause on Wheels or Yvonne. Hi EA, and thank you for your raw honesty. Could you please explain more the reason that karmic bonds keep the children in a cycle of entrapment? Yeah. I don't quite understand this, as I would have thought that the negative karma would go to the perpetrators and the innocent children would not be returning to that same abuse in the next life. Yeah, good question. I know, and it's really sad to think that all of these children are repeating the same abusive cycles over and over again. And same thing with you guys. I had a lot of you reach out and be very vulnerable and very open, especially in the comments, about your own abuse and what has gone on with you. And ultimately, I want to say that is a representation of what has happened in past lifetimes, and you had to re-experience that in this lifetime. So what about the karmic traps? So I just first want to say that absolutely every single one of those reptilians, shapeshifters, elites, they are all getting their karma handed to them in the next couple of years. And even right now it's happening. I'm going to sneeze. Okay, I'm not going to sneeze. Okay, I'm not going to. Okay, good. Okay, so yes, so there absolutely is karma, tons of karma that these poor, children are being inundated with. So karma, as I understand it, and this is a whole video within itself, but karma, as I understand it, is a reaction to an experience. And unfortunately, these reptilians understand karma in a way that they literally create so much torture and so much trauma that it is only by re-experiencing that and learning their lessons that they can free themselves of it. So let me give you an example. I'm going to try and explain this the best that I can, the way that the Galactic Federation explained it to me, but it's difficult because, it's like an instant download and an instant understanding. Just like I mentioned the other day about, it's very difficult to teach people on astral traveling because it comes so naturally to me. Just like those savants who have the answer of a huge mathematical equation, but they have no idea how to show their work to show this is how I got there. It's very similar to me. Like, I get it, I understand it, and I try the best I can to relay it. So, say for example, you're walking around your house and you end up stubbing your toe on a table. And you have the biggest reaction ever, and you're like, oh man, this table, like, I can't believe I stubbed my toe, and I hate this table, and I'm gonna throw this table out, and you get rid of the table because you stubbed your toe, and it would, a super reaction, whatever. It is only upon stubbing your toe again, in the exact same way, in that lifetime, or in a future lifetime, where you are able to clear the karma of the reaction that was created by stubbing your toe. So the problem is that these reptilians are doing things, like really unspeakable, disturbing things to these children that would never play out again in their physical lives, in a normal physical circumstance. So it's like their souls bring them back to the same circumstance so that they can make different decisions and empower themselves and basically make it through the trauma. I hope that makes sense. I know it doesn't make it any better. And I think, one of the questions, and I'm not sure if it's in here or not, but we'll see. But one of the questions that I read was, how did we escape? Like, how are we the ones that got away? And I'll kind of explain it once again. It's such a messed up topic, but I'll try my best. So say, for example, in a past lifetime, you were a part of a pedophile ring and you were brought into the royal family and you were their slave for a number of years. And say, for example, that royal family was actually your own bloodline, and they do that as well. And so say, for example, part of that royal bloodline was your own father, and it was your father who was actually sexually abusing you. How you escape that is, once again, you've created karma in that lifetime. So you've got to play out that energy again so that you can change the dynamic and the frequency of it. That's basically clearing karma, is you neutralize and change the frequency. And so moving forward into another lifetime, say again, your father abuses you, but it's in a much more open atmosphere where you can actually run away and escape and find your freedom, or what have you, right? So that's kind of how you get away from the system of entrapment, is you still have to replay the trauma, but you can replay it in a way that you have more liberation and more freedom. Once again, I hope that explains it, but obviously it doesn't really, help. Okay, so we've got another question here from an account named You Are Beautiful, which I love the name. Do you think or see that the reptilians and the elite running the child sex trafficking rings will be completely taken off the planet for good in our lifetime? I hope that makes sense. Absolutely, 100% in our lifetime, without a doubt. As far as giving you a timeline of 2 years or 10 years or 5 years, I don't have a timeline for you, but I can absolutely guarantee and tell you right now that they are being taken down. We're going to see a huge upheaval. Humanity, society, the elites want you to look over here, be worried about COVID, look over here, wear a mask, look over here, you might die. I mean, like, literally, they are driving into us the biggest fear that humanity could ever have, which is death from COVID, and saying, look over here, rather than saying, this guy got arrested. This is what's happening. This came out the other day. Like, they're really trying to suppress that. And I think a lot of you did mention too that COVID is a huge cover up for the child sex trafficking. And I would say, without a doubt, doesn't mean that COVID doesn't exist. I do believe that 5G technology is a huge part of it. They are completely rolling this out. I do believe that it's no coincidence, wink, wink, that the election is this year as well. We're going to see some very interesting things take place with the election. But once again, I don't want to undermine the fact to say COVID isn't real, because something is definitely going on. Do I believe it's 5G related? Yes. Yeah, we're going to leave it at that. But I do believe something's going on there. I do believe it was created by the governments / elites. But this video isn't about that. Okay, so our last question here is from Kelly, and I know you guys have tons of great questions, and I really appreciate you, all my members, reaching out, asking questions, being vulnerable in the community section. Really, really appreciate that, guys. And once again, if you really resonate with this, sign up and be a member. This will be taken down after 24 hours. And I want to just remind all of you that tomorrow there isn't going to be a live video. There is going to be space within that hour that is created. Even if you take 10 minutes at the beginning of 2:55 or 5:55 or 1:55 or wherever you are, if you create space in that time to really just be with yourself, and send light and love and good vibes and high vibrations, and not only just sending light and love to the children, but also to picture and envision and manifest a society where we are free and sovereign and liberated, not just from the elites, but from every facet that the elites have created, including financial, including education, including pedophilia rings, including all of this. All right. So please meditate on freedom tomorrow. It is very needed at this time. And I want to hold space for all of that. And that's why I don't want to just continue. I want to leave space for the importance of the video on last Monday, and how important that was. And I just want to allow all of you to integrate, is really what it comes down to. And allow myself to integrate, because that was tough. Like, that was so deep, you know? And I feel like all of my videos up until this point, like all of the Monday videos up until this point, have been leading us to this point of release and DNA activation. And I hope that all of you have felt the activation recently. All right, last question. Kelly, hi Elizabeth. I know the elites have enslaved many of the children, but it's also so that the reptiles down in their caves, but is it also so that the reptiles down in their caves also keep a lot of the children as captives, like the place that you visited with the Galactic Federation? Second question is, are some of these children born down there by the captives that have lived there or have they lived there for their entire lives? Or are they being abducted and sold by their parents? Okay, good questions. So the first question is, are the reptilians who are in the underground caves also abusing children? And I want to say no, absolutely not. The download that I got, and I didn't really know any of this before last week. Like, I knew a lot from 2012, but I haven't really sat down to ask the GFL these questions. So I was surprised to two things. One is, how do I say this? Yeah, what I heard from last video from the Galactic Federation was, hold on. Yes, only the top elite of reptilians are taking children and using them and abusing them and drinking adrenochrome. Only the top elites. It's a very luxury thing to have. Only they get to have it. And only the top elite reptilians are above ground. All the ones below ground, they've been treated like shit this entire time. And second thing I want to mention about that is, second thing is, and I have three things now. Second thing is, they don't need adrenochrome. They don't need children. They don't need sacrifice. They don't need any of that to exist. They can exist without that torture. I think that that's really important to understand, and really messed up that they are doing that even though they don't need to. But they want to have control. Their biggest thing is, sure, reverse aging, that's fine, but the biggest thing that they want is control, control, control. Third thing that I want to mention about that, and now I have to think about it, is, hold on. Yes. A lot of the reptilians underground in those caves, they want to fight against the system. They want to fight against the elites, the elite reptilians. I said this all in Monday's video, but the elite reptilians have been treating them like garbage, and they've been treating humans like garbage. And the underground reptilians do not want anything to do with it whatsoever. They want to be free too, and they haven't told any of these reptilians that they want to be free. These elites that they want to be free, because they're scared of them. They're waiting for the right time. So right now, and it's happening soon, and it's happening fast. Right now, the Galactic Federation is working in tandem with all of these reptilians who want to basically, commit mutiny and leave the paradigm. They're actually helping them leave the planet. Maybe not right now, but it's happening soon. It's kind of like they're laying in wait, and I am so excited. I had no idea that was happening. I'm very excited to hear that the majority of the reptilians underground, which is the majority of the reptilians on this planet, let me tell you, I would say 90% of the reptilians on this planet are underground, 10% are above ground, and that's probably being pretty generous. So that's the first question. Hopefully that answers it. And then the second question is, are some of the children born down there and live there their whole lives, or are they being abducted? Both. It's both for sure. Some children are born down there. A lot of these children are getting pregnant and having children, which is really sad. And then the cycle just progresses, and there's a lot of trauma even from the mothers. And then a lot of children are also being abducted and taken from the streets as well. I think there was some sort of statistic that like 800,000 children go missing every year or something crazy all across the world, or just in America. I'm not really sure, but it's pretty intense. And a large majority of those children who go missing are being fed right into the system. But no more. This is not happening anymore. And it's time for all of us to put our foot down. So once again, guys, please subscribe, join up, be a member, support my cause, support yourself. There's over 60, 70 videos, tons of hours of content that have never been released publicly on my membership page. So check that out, and yeah, create space tomorrow when my video should be live, to really sit in that energy and that frequency and give back to humanity. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing that last video. Thank you for holding space for me. I couldn't do this without all of you. And I wouldn't feel as safe as I do feel without all of you. And I hope that I don't scare you when I say that I feel like I'm in danger when I say this information. I hope that's not a fear thing. I hope that you realize that by me saying, if anything happens to me, you know what happened, that is a protection thing. I say that not because I'm in fear, because honestly, death is not really death to me. And if I were to leave the planet right now, all I would say is get my external hard drives and release all the information on there, because there's a lot more that I have not disclosed. But there's no harm, right? Like, I am so willing, I don't want to say willing to die for the cause, but I am so willing to, and I feel so fulfilled in what I've already given, that I would be completely okay exiting. So it's not a fear that I have. It's, I say all of that as a protection, because now they can't come after me. If I said, look, if they come after me and something happens, it was not me, it's them. Now they can't. Now I'm protected by all of you watching this. So I just want to say thank you for holding space for me and protecting me, and all of the light and love that you guys gave me after that video as well. Super appreciate it. I love you all so much. Keep up the good work. I will have another video coming out for the members only on Thursday, so check that out. It's going to be huge. Other than that, I will probably see you next Sunday for a live Q&A. If not, I'll jump on the radio platform as well and do a little radio show sometime this week, but I'll let you guys all know. Thank you all so much. Have a good one.